Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Theravada Buddhism series, Dhamma talk number 12. Today's topic is 31 planes of existence. Buddhist cosmology. From the Buddhist point of view, all beings, all living beings, they are caught in the cycle of birth and death called samsara. It's very hard to escape from it. And during that endless cycle of birth and death, beings were reborn at different places based on their own actions. And these 31 planes, or 31 different realms, are where all the beings were reborn. So, it is good for us to know the planes or the realms that one can be reborn based on our own actions. Nobody is deciding which plane to be born, but it is our actions, good or bad, direct us to these planes. So there are 31 planes of existence. And these 31 planes are divided into 3 divisions. One division is Kama Loka, sense sphere. Another division is Rupa Loka, form sphere. And the third is Arupa Loka, formless sphere or mind-only sphere. 3 divisions. The first division is called Kama Loka, sphere of senses. When we say senses, all 5 senses are in operation. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body. Of course, thought or consciousness understood. So all these 5 senses are in full operation, and there are 11 planes or 11 realms or 11 worlds in it. And from the bottoms up, this 11 realms of the sense spheres subdivided into 3 again. The first one is 4 woeful states. In other words, there are 4 different planes, 4 different realms at the bottom. And the next one is human. It's only one by itself, human realm. So 5. And above that human is 6 realms of Deva. English call it angels, I guess. So 5 plus 1 plus 6, 4 plus 1 plus 6, 11. 11 planes of existence These planes have all 5 senses in full operation. So let's see each subgroup is. The first one is 4 woeful states or 4 woeful planes. In Pali, it's called Appaya. What is Appaya is, it is the planes of deprivation, suffering and anguish. Those are the main mental states that are arising in those planes. Appaya, 4 woeful planes. And in there, as we say 4, the first one right from the bottom is called Niriya. English equivalent is hell. But it's not like a hell where one need to or one have to stay for eternity. One is reborn in hell, and whatever the unwholesome karma you have done, you have to stay there. So in other words, like a jail, a sentence. If you're sentenced for 50 years, you have to stay 50 years. And after that, all those unwholesome actions or karma one has done is all burned up, and they will die in hell and reborn in a better plane. Because we have both good and bad karmas. It's endless amount. So the good karma, due to good karma, one will be reborn in a little better existence. That's hell from the Buddhist hell. Niraya. And just for general information, there are 8 levels of hell based on intensity. The lowest one is Avijji, like a maximum security prison. And then the more it goes up and up and up to number 1, it is less restricted. Based on that, intensity of suffering is divided into 8. And again too, based on the severity of the unwholesome actions one had done in the past, brings you there. There are 5, it's mentioned in the scripture. If you committed these 5, it's a serious karma, and it is 100% sure you'll be reborn in hell. One is killing parents, your father and mother. And then killing Arhat, which is the highest level of noble person. And then killing Pichika Buddha, or say not killing, hurting, harming Pichika Buddha. Let's call it junior Buddha. They are totally enlightened like the Buddha we know, except that they don't preach to the world. And then also hurting and harming a Buddha. You can't kill them, but hurting them. And the 5th one is schism, trying to split into various groups or factions among the Sangha among the monks or bhikkhus, so that they cannot be united. If one has committed one of these 5, surely one will be reborn in hell. Of course, there's a lot of stories and hot iron and fire and oil and so forth and so forth, and in a big iron box. Those are the descriptive expressions so that we could understand. It is not built with the exact steel reinforced iron box, and inside there's fire going, lava's flowing, oil boiling, and all the beans were like sardines. It's described in there so that we could understand, so that we could feel it, the severity of it. And of course, there's a lot of paintings drawn. These are artist rendition, the way they perceived how hell is, and they draw. And with centuries and centuries, some people believe that's how it looks. So keep that in mind. It's a constant state of intense suffering, intense stress. And you have to suffer this through. You can't die, even though there might be a 10 million degrees centigrade, your body is not destroyed till your karma is exhausted. But you suffer. So there are many stories, but we won't go into details. So that is hell. Niraya, Niraya, Niraya. The lowest, the toughest one is Avici, A-V-I-C-I, Avici. And also, going to hell is not somebody is punishing you because you're bad, you go to hell. Not that way. It is your own action. Okay, let's say one. Your mindset is, it's always in a state of intense torture, cruelty, killing. That's your mindset. In this life you kill a lot and you enjoy that killing. You are cruel, not only just simply kill, you're cruel, you torment people. And you love it, you like it. In other words, even though you are a human, your mindset is like that. You are apart from the rest of the human race. That is the mindset you are developing. That is the kind of consciousness arising in you. And when one person dies with that kind of consciousness, that person will be reborn in Niraya, hell. Because that is where most of that kind of mindsets and consciousness arises. So that's how rebirth takes place. That's how one went to hell. It's not a punishment. It's not somebody is ordering and sentencing you. A judge is sentencing you. Your own mindset takes you there. That is very important. We show this one, but same thing. The mindset we built, we repeat so often in this life. We are directing ourselves to the type of existence will be reborn. Next is Dirichana. So in other words, the realms of the animals. When we say animals, it is every living being that we can see with a human eye. Let's put it that way. Our human eyes, we have a certain range of materiality we can see. So we can see four-legged animals, two-legged animals, no-legs animals, snakes, many-legged spiders. We can see fish and all sorts assorted in the sea. We can see some insects, worms, anything that we see that we, let's call it, English word, we just use animal kingdoms. Pali word is Trichana. You were reborn there. And that's not a desirable place to be reborn, just like hell. Because most animals, they engage their life always searching and hunting for food. Constantly, every day, you have to go out, look for food. You don't have a superstore. And you may or may not get it. Whether another animal or whether some grasses, green grasses, you don't know whether it's a drought. Always struggling for food to stay alive. And also fighting for food to stay alive. Fighting for mating so that you have whatever that little pleasure that brings about during the mating, illusion of pleasure. And always you are in a state of fear for life, except for the top predators. There's always somebody going to eat you and kill you and bully you. State of anxiety and worry. That's animal kingdom. And the third one is called beta. English translation is hungry ghosts. Hungry ghosts is the closest to the human realm. Closest in the sense of beings that we cannot see. Animal kingdom is, even though they are two different realms, it's on the same plane. We human and the animal live on the same plane and we can see each other, one another. Hungry ghosts we can't. The rest of the realms we cannot see with our eyes. But hungry ghost realm, sometimes we cross path. Sometimes a sense of their existence. Sometimes people say they see ghosts. That's hungry ghosts. And these are, the reason is when human died, some human are very attached to their property or to their family or something, in an extreme grasping, upadana, up to the point of obsession. And when they die, they cannot let go of that attachment so strong. In their mind, they still believe they are alive. They hang around there, but they are not. So there's in Theravada tradition, there's one tradition is, one system is that whenever our beloved departed, we offer food and generosity, charity, alms to monks and people and so on. In memory of them and share our merit. It is not that they can receive our merit. The merit that we do is for us. You can't share with anybody. What you do is what you get. What somebody does is what somebody get. They cannot get it. But by sharing merit, and if they happen to the key word is if they happen to hear it or feel it or sense it, they can rejoice in the act of generosity and charity. They rejoice it. They feel happy, simply put. And when they rejoice, when they feel happy, they call it anumodana. Buddhist word is. As soon as they can rejoice it, their living standard is a little uplifted. That's the extent of sharing merit. That is Peta, hungry ghost ram, still in a full woeful state. The last one is called Asura. Asura is an interesting ram. The closest I would draw in from the West is the fallen angels. The fallen angels. These beings are powerful, but they are warlike, angry easily, and they are always in a state of conflict among themselves. Don't worry about these asura. They don't come and bother you or disturb you. They live their own realms and they have their own conflicts and affairs. And they are quite busy among themselves. It's said long time ago, there was a war waged between these asura and the current residents of one of the Dewa realm, Davatingsa. It was mentioned in the Jagga Sutta, discourse on crest, banner and flags. From there, we had a glimpse how Asura fights with the Dewa from the 31 gods plane. And also their structure. They have war like us. And also they have their own organization. They have their own structure, hierarchy, ruler, subject. Those are the little glimpses we get from the scriptures or from the sutta, how Dewa and Asura worlds are like. So those are the four woeful planes. Lowest one, hell. Second lowest, hungry ghost. Third, animal. Fourth is Asura. Four woeful planes. A plane that is not desirable to be reborn. And number 5 is Manusa, human realm. According to the Buddha's teaching, it is very, very rare to become a human, to be reborn as a human. But some people argue, human race is growing from 1 billion now to 7 billion. Where are they coming from? So easy to be human. Yeah, if you only look at that number, yes. But look at it in terms of the universe. Forget about the universe. Just look at the insects realm. A hive of bees. A hill of ants. They have millions and millions and millions in that 1 or 2 square foot. Amount and numbers of fish and creatures in the sea, countless. And if you look at the ratio, we are nothing. Not only that, we are talking only about this. In the whole universe, there's a hell realms. There's a Dewa realms. In the hell realms, there are endless, because Buddha said hell realm is the most frequented realms that we do. We are only a guest in a human realm. And Devas, it's one point it said when the Buddha was giving a sermon, Dhamma talk, a lot of Devas come. Dhammacakka Vatana, turning of the wheel of Dhamma. It's so crowded, you can see that on a top of a head of a pin, there are hundreds and thousands of Deva, okay, because they can manifest big and small. That much. So compared to that, our humans are very, very scared. And there's a reason too. Because human realm is the only realm where both pleasure and suffering exists, pain and pleasure. You can experience both. And based on that, people who want to walk out can climb out of it. And we have the enough brain capacity to enlighten, to go as far as we can. Now science proved that we have only used only about 5 or 10%, I think. I could be wrong, but just around there, of the capacity of the brain we are using. Let's say 10%. Imagine what the remaining 90% can take you to what level. That's human realm. This is the only realm that you can develop your insight and wisdom, brain power, to escape from samsara, from the rounds of rebirth. So that's human. We are still in the sense sphere, so far 5. And the remaining 6 is Deva realm. In a Deva realm, they are born instantly, fully grown. They don't grow old. Fully developed, fully grown, they don't grow old. Only when they are about to die, it said there are 5 signs. The clothes that they wear become wrinkled. They sweat. And also, they have a very lovely smell. Body smell is very lovely. That smell, lovely smell, starting to faint. And they become restless. Restless mind come in. Even though when they are sitting, they become jittery. And the Devas, in one way they are called the beings of lights, their radiance began to fade. Those are the 5 senses that they are about to die. And only then they realize that they are not permanent, they will die. Before that they have no idea, no clue, just enjoying life. Because they never grow old, so they don't think anything's creeping up on them. And at that time it's a great shock and suffering, and they die. And based on the karma, they will be reborn somewhere. That is Deva realm. Okay, there are 6 planes, and the lowest of the Deva realm is called the plains of the 4 kings. Stu Maharaja. Stu is 4, Maharaja is great kings. In that plain, it said Naga, something like dragons, or big birds, Gandhabba, Yakha, something like a giant, and great celestial musician, and also three spirits of various ethical quality. Those lives in that plane. And in that plane is directly connected with our earth. It's on this earth, on the ground. But we cannot see them because they have a different, let's call it atomic bonding for their bodies, which is out of phase from us. That's the lowest plane of Deva. Davating Ta. Davating Ta is a Burmese sounding. Davatim Sa, I think Pali. That's a second Deva Ram. That Ram is we call it 31 gods Ram. Yeah, there are 31 powerful gods. Under them there's a lot of followers and attendants who is ruled on top by the king of Deva called Sakka. This king Sakka is the devotee of Buddha. So in other words, there's a lot of Buddhists in that Ram, Buddhist Deva in this Ram. Not necessarily everyone, but a lot. Because the king themselves is a Buddhist devotee. Let's say if a country here, so this is a Catholic country, majorities are Catholic. That's a Protestant country, majority are Protestant. This is a Islamic country, mostly are Muslim. But there are exceptions, of course. The same rules applies. And these beings live in a great mansions in the air. It's not connected with earth now, in the air. Great mansions. That's a second Deva Ram. The third one is called Yama. Yama is, these Deva live in the air, free from all difficulties. I think the lower one is, even though they are in the air, they have a mansion, so there's some base. But this Yama, they are free of difficulties, but still in the air. Didn't describe much from that Ram. And another one above that's called Tusita. Tusita, Tusita. It's translated as contented Deva. In this Ram, all the Devas are quite contented. When you're contented, what happens? You are happy. Contented Deva, or always happy Deva. And they live contented and with pure delights. This one is interesting because in the scripture it's stated, Bodhisattva, Buddha to be a person who is trying to become a Buddha. He was and he will be reborn in that Ram. One life before he became or he becomes a fully enlightened Buddha. Let's say Buddha Gautama. Before he became a Buddha Gautama, he was a Deva at that Ram, Tusita. Our next coming Buddha is named Arimatriya or Mitriya, some call it. Right now, he is living, he's alive in this Tusita Ram as a Deva. When the right time comes, he will die from there and will be reborn in the human Ram. Human Ram is the only one that you can climb up and you can climb down. You have a free choice. You have the opening to choose what you want. If you don't choose, of course, it will go whichever direction it is taking you. The condition will take you. But if you choose where you want to go, you can go. That's human realm, very special realm. All Buddhas, they become Buddhas only in the human realm. Okay? So this is the Tusita, number 4 highest Deva realm. Number 5, Nimarati. Nimanarati, I believe. It's a little difficult for me to pronounce. In Pali, my sounding is like a Burmese. These devas delight in their own creation, which means they can create anything they want. Whatever they imagine, they can create it. And they take delights in the object that they created. More like a great artist. Whatever their mind imagine, they create it. On that object, they take delights in it. They like it, they enjoyed it. That is the number 5. Number 6 is Parinamita in Pali. It's a power over the other creations. And these Deva, they don't have to even create for themselves. They can get anything that anybody create. So that's a level. But one interesting thing in this realm is there's a Deva named Mara. You can call it a jealous god. He's always jealous that living beings will desert this pleasurable realm and go forth, renounce it, and become a holy person. He doesn't want to deplete his followers because he's the top of all these 11 realms. And he's always tempting in the scripture the Arhat to be, Buddha to be, any holy person who is going to go forth beyond. He always tried to tempt so that they won't follow that. That's why he had a great battle with the Buddha before Buddha became the fully enlightened Buddha. He's on his own on that plane, but there's a overlord, of course. So those are the 6 Deva realm in short. And the next one is Rupa Ram. 5 material realms, Rupa. So it's a little confusing, but that's how it's stated, that's how it is. Sense realm also have a form, material form, but they don't call it. But they emphasize with the 5 senses. Full 5 senses are operating. And this Brahma Ram, which is a 16 Rupa Ram, they still have the body, but they are called form. But their material is so fine, even the Deva cannot see it. Even the Deva cannot see these Brahma or Rupa Ram beings. So fine, until and unless they wish to show themselves. That's fine. Just like we can't see the Deva, and the same thing, Deva can't see these beings. 16 of them. And these 16 realms are divided according to the jhanic power one has attained in the human realm. They go up to those places from the human realm. Okay. To Deva realm, you can go there by doing generosity and morality, dana and sila. But dana and sila cannot take you to this fine material form realm or Brahma realm. Only the deep meditation can take you there. Meditation, samatha meditation. So, these realms are divided according to the jhana one attained. People who are master in the first jhana were reborn in the first three Brahma planes. Okay? First three different realms of Brahma planes. Okay? I will start with the third Brahma realm from the bottom. The third Brahma realm is called Mahabrahma. In other words, great Brahma. They are so powerful and they live so long, they believe they are the creator, destroyer, and they are eternal. In other words, they are the king, Brahma kings. That is a third realm. And the second lower people, lower is, I won't say Pali words, it's too confusing. It is the Brahma who are ministers and advisors to the great Brahma, the Brahma king. That is the second. And the first and the lowest Brahma realm is the followers and attendants, musicians, entertainers, entertaining Brahmas. So those are the first three realms. You can get there, reborn there, based on the mastery on the first jhana, and the plane spirited based on their previous wholesome karma as well. But it is said all these three planes, all these three realms are in the same plane, just like we human, animals, and insects are on the same plane of earth. We are different realms, same plane of earth, human, animals, fish, insects. Just like that, these Brahma, three Brahma realms are on the same plane, but they have their different status and power. So the first three Brahma realm requirement, first jhana. And the second three Brahma realms, 5, 6, and 7. Requirement is mastery of the second jhana, 5, 6, and 7. And these beings are called, again divided into three levels. They are defined with their radiance, their bodies, the radiance, limited radiance, unbounded radiance, and streaming radiance. Of course, limited is number 4, unbounded is number 5, streaming is number 6. So far we cover 6 Brahma Ram, or 6 great beings. And the next 3 is 7, 8, and 9. Requirement is mastery of the third jhana. And this 6, 7, and 7, 8, and 9 is defined with glory. English word glory. Again, limited glory. 7, unbounded glory. 8, streaming glory. 9. So we cover 3 Brahma runs based on the 3 level of jhana. Now, the next one. The next one is only 2 realms. Of course, you know by now the requirement is 4th jhana. You must become very skillful with the 4th jhana. 2 realms. And that one is explained or defined as very fruitful realm. And here fruitful means in Pali is called phala, fruition. Whatever their jhanic they have practiced, there's a result. That result, they are always in the state of that result. Fruitful. Or in other words, they are always in the state of the jhanic bliss, of the 4th jhanic bliss. Always in there, nothing else. That's it. And they are called, or let's call it ordinary 4th jhanic Brahma. We call it ordinary because there's another kind of Brahma in there with the 4th jhanic level. It's called mindless being. Because when in a human life, they consider the minds give you a lot of suffering. So they practice meditation to eliminate the mind. So when they die, they were reborn as a body-only being without the mind. That's a very interesting concept. So those are the 2 result out of the 4th jhana. So altogether 11 so far. And then there's another 5 realms. Another 5 realms. And these 5 realms are separated out from the first 2, that ordinary Brahma and the body-only being. Because those 2 are also 4th jhana, these 5 realms are also requirements for jhana. But the exception, the special cases, in these were only the Ariya, noble person. And even the Aniriya is Anagami, non-returner, and Arhata, okay? Arhan. Only those noble person are reborn there, exist there. You might be an Arahant and you will be born as a, die as an Arahant and born as an Arahant and then, not die. You live there in the human world, attain Anagami, once returner, and they die with Anagami and they are reborn in this 5 plane as an Anagami beings. So only for the Ariya, Anagami, and they live very, very long, and in there they live, and they practice, and they die from one plane and reborn in another as Anagami, or they die in one plane as Anagami and reborn as an Arahat, or in there in one of the plane they become Arahat, and finally when they die as an Arahat, they escape from the samsara. Sotawasa Ram is very pure, they call it pure abode. Requirement is the 4th jhana plus Anagami, once returner status, to be reborn there. So those are 16 Brahma Ram. 16 Brahmaram. And in those planes, okay, they don't need to eat substance. So in general, let's call it they have no mouth. And or they don't smell, no nose. But they have ears. And they have ears to hear the Dharma of the Buddha, it was said. So all the five senses are not in full operation. And also on all these Brahmaram, they are neutral gender. It is neither male or a female, neutral in gender. In Devaram, there's a male and female because they want to enjoy full senses. And here, they live in bliss. Instead of food, they live in bliss. Bliss is the energy, nutriment. They are not bothered by much. And the next one is the highest one. The highest is called Aruparam, full Aruparam. In other words, without the body, mind-only beings. Mind-only being is, I'll make it very simple. In the human world, one practice and attain the fifth jhana. The fifth jhana is you have to practice the meditation object is not material, not rupa. It's immaterial meditation object. The first one is akasa, space. Space is the meditation object. And if one masters that using meditation object as a space and attain fifth jhana, you are reborn in this arupa, the lowest of the four, space. And the next one is you have already mastered the space and they keep on practicing. And what do I have to do? What it is they focus, the meditation object is the consciousness that know the space. That is the meditation object. Consciousness that know the space. And if you master that, you are born in that second arupa ram, formless ram. And then third one, once you have mastered the space and the consciousness, you begin to observe on the object. The consciousness becomes the object. You observe and observe and observe till the consciousness totally disappears. So when it does disappear, what happened? There's nothing left. The void. So that Brahmaram is called nothingness Ram, Brahmaram. And the fourth and the highest sphere of neither perception or non-perception. That is the object, neither perception or non-perception. You are totally floating in between, I guess. I'm just guessing. Those are the four realms defined by the difference in meditation object. One is a sphere of infinite space. Another one is the sphere of infinite consciousness. And the third one is sphere of nothingness. And the fourth one is sphere of neither perception nor non-perception. Four, altogether 31 planes of existence. So, if you want to go direct to Nibbana, the end of all suffering, the end of birth and death, practice Vipassana. If you want to go to the Brahma planes, practice meditation, samatha meditation. If you want to go to the Deva realms, do a lot of generosity and morality. Live decent, give, share. If you want to be reborn in the human realm, dana, sila, bhavana, generosity, morality, as well as mental development. And when you are practicing, you have to dedicate. Whatever you practice, you dedicate it to what you wish. Some people wish for Deva Ram, some people wish for Brahma Ram, some for Brahma Ram with form, some for Brahma Ram without form. And in the human too, you can dedicate it to be reborn as a human so that you can keep on practicing the Dharma. If you dedicate it in your mind, that's basically you are knocking the door. Knocking the door. If you knock the door will open. If you don't knock it, any door can open. Of course, we won't dedicate it to the four woeful planes. As long as you do unwholesome actions, the door for the four woeful plane is open. So, we as humans have choices. First of all, we must know what the choices are. Secondly, we must know what to do to have the choice that you want. And thirdly, we can do it. Simply just do it. Human Ram, according to the Buddha, is the best Ram to be reborn. May all of you be able to practice Satipatthana Vipassana, mindfulness, insight meditation, and may you be able to attain Nibbana as soon as possible. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you very much.